Foxhole is a game that has spent a long time in development, and recently it's gained decent traction with a broader audience. Its top-down view and unique playstyle seems to be catching more and more attention these days. As a longtime player of the game, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should buy Foxhole in 2021. Let's get into it. Number 5. Nothing quite like it. The fight in this game is more about the long-term strategy instead of short and intense matches like most shooters. The war wages on for days and usually over weeks before one side comes out on top as the victor. That's why the devs called it persistent online war, because everything players make in this game persists until it's either used or destroyed. The scale of the fighting happens over multiple maps linked together, and it's quite interesting to see everything in action all at once. This requires a lot of players to oil a machine and make sure everything runs smoothly. While lacking of players used to be a common issue, the recent influx in players this year has left no lacking of players to do the heavy lifting. There is also a ton of different equipment that spans across land and sea, requiring a sizable logistics core to keep everything moving in the right direction. While this might not be the first game to implement this style of mechanics, it does such on a vastly larger scale. It's one thing to win a fight after an intense 40-minute battle, and an entirely different thing to win after many days of giving it your all. Number 4. Collaborative community. You simply can't play this game without working together. This has created a community that is always looking for ways to work with the masses to get the job done. There is no lacking of in-game squads or operations to join, and quite often you'll get thrust into the deep end of it on day 1. It's not uncommon to start a play session on one task, then end on a completely different one. You might log in and start mining some resources, then move into a stealth operation, and finish up with a huge assault. All you have to do is browse a list of groups that look like they're doing something you'd like, or just ask in local chat and a group will snatch you up. There are a lot of discords dedicated to organizing players for the greater good, and the game boasts a very large community discord to help players find all of these groups. Quite often, these groups are quite dedicated to the game and you won't have difficulty finding others to enjoy the game with. I've made a lot of long-lasting friends in this game, which is more than I can say for a lot of games that I've played. Yes, you will run into the odd troll or stubborn player who refuses to play ball, but they are honestly drowned out by the community at large these days. Number 3. Active indie developer. This might matter less to you than it does me. Personally, I won't support a game if it's from a bad developer that doesn't care about their community, or has a track record of making broken games and then abandoning them. There's just too much of that going on these days, so I like to support the indie devs that are putting in an honest shot to compete with the big boys. The Foxhole developers do just that, and their game is consistently receiving updates. From little tweaks fixing smaller issues to huge updates that add a significant amount of new features. These updates also come out at a surprisingly fast frequency, and it's been like this since day 1. The developers have also proven themselves to be quite transparent with regular dev blogs and Twitch streams. Before you click off the video, no, I'm not a shill for the devs and I'm not taking any payment from them either. I've just seen enough indie developers that claim to have this level of interactivity only to ban you from their community the moment you question the roadmap. Of course, the Foxhole devs have a direction that they want to take the game and they are moving in that direction. All I'm trying to say is that they are quite receptive to feedback and it's refreshing to see. Number 2. Branches for any player. Quite literally, there is a branch for almost every kind of wargame player. From logistics to the front lines and anything in between. You won't find a shortage of tasks to fit the bill. For example, you could build structures to support the front, command the battle itself, or provide much needed intel through behind the lines special operations. The variety of branches also offers the ability to switch between them when you get fed up of one. I quite often find myself backing off the front line to start building equipment stockpiles and defenses to support the front so I can catch a break. Regardless of the branch you're operating in, you'll always feel like you're having your impact on the war. Even if you're just one small piece of a very large operation, everyone needs to carry their weight to keep the front line moving forward. It's within this ability to have an impact on the war, regardless of the branch that you're operating within, that will keep the game interesting.
There's the dock!
And lastly, number 1, addicting gameplay. The feeling of gratification in this game doesn't come from AAA game-like graphics or huge eye-catching explosions. It comes from the gratification of working together to kick the crap out of an operation, or getting much needed supplies to the front. Then hearing back about how your supplies made the difference in the fight and how they're able to finally break through the enemy lines. It comes from working over days to complete a goal, or logging into an intense fight to hold an area that you just cannot afford to lose. Foxhole might only be a game, but you'll feel both your victories and losses in a way that you've never felt in other games. Foxhole isn't for everyone, there's no doubt about that, but if this is your fancy, it will take your expectations of a persistent game to a whole new level like you've never seen before. If you're still on the edge, I totally get it. That's why I made a full review of the game, and you can find that linked in the description or on the top right corner of your screen. I strive hard in my reviews to show both the good and bad features of a game so you can make an informed purchase. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends, and maybe even consider subscribing for more. Also, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are and if you plan on getting Foxhole or skipping it. And to my existing subscribers, you're all amazing people and I really appreciate your continued support. Honestly, you all make this YouTube thing worth it. As always, thanks for watching, stay safe out there everyone, and we'll see you on the front lines.